downtown Los Angeles. A city of dreams, but also a place where shadows linger. And within those shadows, some stories remain unsolved. This is the story of Elisa Lam, a young woman who journeyed to the City of Angels, only to disappear into its heart of darkness. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student from British Columbia, was full of life, laughter, and a thirst for adventure. She documented her travels on her blog, Etherfields, sharing her experiences and observations with the world. In January 2013, Elisa embarked on a solo trip down the West Coast, starting in San Diego and heading north to Santa Cruz. Los Angeles was just a stop along the way, a vibrant city she planned to explore before continuing her journey. On January 26th, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles, her backpack filled with dreams and her camera ready to capture the city's vibrant energy. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget-friendly option in downtown LA, a place with a history as intriguing as its faded grandeur. Built in the 1920s, the Cecil Hotel was once a symbol of luxury and sophistication. But over the decades, its fortunes declined, and it became associated with poverty, crime, and tragedy. The Cecil earned a grim nickname, the Hotel Death, due to the numerous suicides, murders, and unexplained deaths that occurred within its walls. One of the most notorious residents of the Cecil Hotel was Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, a serial killer who terrorized Los Angeles in the 1980s. Ramirez reportedly stayed at the Cecil during his killing spree, adding to the hotel's dark lore. But Elisa Lam was unaware of this grim history when she checked in. She was simply a young woman seeking affordable accommodation in a bustling city. Elisa's first few days in Los Angeles were filled with sightseeing and exploration. She visited museums, art galleries, and iconic landmarks, documenting her experiences on her blog and sharing her impressions with friends and family back home. But as the days passed, those who knew Elisa began to notice a change in her demeanor. Her blog posts became less frequent and more cryptic. Her phone calls home were filled with vague anxieties and unsettling descriptions of her surroundings. On January 31st, Elisa was scheduled to check out of the Cecil Hotel and continue her journey north. But she never did. She missed her checkout time, and her belongings remained untouched in her room. Her family, unable to reach her, grew increasingly worried. The LAPD was contacted, and a missing person investigation was launched. Detectives began searching for Elisa, interviewing hotel staff and guests, and reviewing security footage. But the Cecil Hotel, with its labyrinthine hallways and countless rooms, seemed to swallow Elisa whole, leaving no trace of her whereabouts. Days turned into weeks, and the mystery of Elisa Lam's disappearance deepened. Theories circulated online, fueled by the hotel's dark reputation and the lack of concrete leads. Was Elisa a victim of foul play? Had she run away? Or had she succumbed to the same darkness that seemed to permeate the Cecil Hotel? Then, on February 19th, a chilling discovery was made. Guests at the Cecil Hotel began complaining about the water pressure and the strange taste of the water coming from their taps. Maintenance workers were dispatched to investigate the rooftop water tanks. What they found would shock the city and send ripples of horror across the internet. Inside one of the tanks, floating face up in the murky water, was the body of Elisa Lam. Her clothes were found at the bottom of the tank, along with her watch and room key. The discovery was both heartbreaking and baffling. How did Elisa end up in the water tank? Was it an accident, a suicide, or something far more sinister? The LAPD launched a full-scale investigation, but the circumstances surrounding Elisa's death were shrouded in mystery. The water tank was located in a secured area, accessible only through a locked door. There were no signs of forced entry, and it seemed impossible for Elisa to have climbed into the tank on her own. The autopsy report revealed that Elisa had drowned, but it offered no explanation for how she ended up in the water tank. There were no signs of foul play, and toxicology reports showed no evidence of drugs or alcohol in her system. The coroner ruled her death an accident, but the unanswered questions lingered. The mystery of Elisa Lam's death captured the imagination of the public and fueled countless theories. Some speculated that she was a victim of foul play, perhaps targeted by someone who knew the hotel's layout. Others suggested she had been sleepwalking or experiencing a psychotic episode. And some even whispered of supernatural forces at work, claiming that the Cecil Hotel was haunted by restless spirits. But amidst the speculation and sensationalism, one piece of evidence stood out: the chilling elevator footage captured just days before Elisa's disappearance. The footage showed Elisa behaving erratically inside the elevator, pressing buttons, hiding in the corner, and seemingly talking to someone who wasn't there. The footage became a viral sensation, analyzed and dissected by experts and amateur sleuths alike. Was Elisa experiencing a mental health crisis? Was she playing a game? Or was she interacting with someone unseen, someone who might hold the key to her tragic fate? The Elisa Lam case remains unsolved, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most vibrant cities. Her story continues to fascinate and disturb, a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the fragility of life. Elisa Lam's legacy lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, and in the ongoing search for answers. Her story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the age of technology and constant surveillance, some secrets remain hidden, and some tragedies defy explanation. Built in the 1920s, the Cecil Hotel was once a grand establishment, a beacon of elegance and sophistication in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Its marble floors, ornate chandeliers, and rooftop garden attracted a clientele of businessmen, socialites, and Hollywood hopefuls. But over the decades, the Cecil's fortunes took a dramatic downturn. The Great Depression hit the Cecil hard, and its clientele dwindled. The surrounding neighborhood, once a thriving commercial district, began to decline as well. Skid Row, with its homeless population and social problems, encroached upon the Cecil's doorstep, and the hotel's reputation began to suffer. As the years passed, the Cecil became a magnet for troubled souls, a refuge for those on the fringes of society. It became known as a place where people went to disappear, to escape their pasts, or to end their lives. The hotel's dark history began to unfold, marked by a series of disturbing incidents. In 1947, Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, was reportedly last seen at the Cecil's bar before her gruesome murder. Her body was found mutilated and discarded in a vacant lot, a crime that remains unsolved to this day. The Black Dahlia case cast a long shadow over the Cecil, adding to its growing reputation as a place of mystery and tragedy. In the 1960s, the Cecil was plagued by a series of suicides. Guests jumped from windows, overdosed in their rooms, or hanged themselves in the closets. The hotel's staff became accustomed to the grim task of discovering these tragic scenes, and the Cecil's reputation as a place of death grew stronger. In the 1980s, the Cecil's notoriety reached new heights when it became a temporary home to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, a serial killer who terrorized Los Angeles with a string of brutal murders. Ramirez reportedly stayed at the Cecil during his killing spree, using the hotel's anonymity and transient population to his advantage. The Cecil's dark history continued into the 21st century, with more suicides, unexplained deaths, and even a murder in 2015. The hotel's reputation as a place of tragedy and despair seemed unshakable. But was it merely a backdrop for these unfortunate events, or was there something more at play? Was the Cecil Hotel truly cursed, as some believed? Or was it simply a place where troubled souls were drawn, a magnet for those seeking escape or oblivion? The Cecil's past was undeniably troubled, a tapestry woven with threads of despair, violence, and mystery. But what was it about this place that seemed to attract such darkness? Was it the hotel's location, its proximity to Skid Row and the city's underbelly? Was it the building itself, its architecture and design somehow conducive to tragedy? Or was there something more intangible at work, a lingering energy or presence that defied explanation? January 26, 2013. Elisa Lam, with her bright smile and adventurous spirit, stepped off the Greyhound bus at 7th and Main, her backpack slung over her shoulder, a map of the city clutched in her hand. She had arrived in the City of Angels, ready to explore its vibrant culture and iconic landmarks. Her first impression of the Cecil Hotel was likely a mix of awe and apprehension. The building's imposing facade, its Art Deco architecture, a relic of a bygone era, hinted at a grandeur that had faded with time. The lobby, though clean and functional, bore the marks of years of wear and tear, a testament to the hotel's tumultuous history. Elisa approached the front desk, her Canadian accent adding a touch of warmth to her greeting. The clerk, perhaps accustomed to the transient nature of the Cecil's clientele, processed her check-in with practiced efficiency. Elisa was assigned a room on the 5th floor, a small but tidy space with a window overlooking the bustling city streets. She placed her backpack on the bed, her suitcase beside it, and took a moment to survey her surroundings. The room was basic, with faded wallpaper, worn furniture, and a small bathroom with outdated fixtures. But it was clean and functional, and the window offered a glimpse of the city's vibrant energy. Elisa unpacked her belongings, carefully arranging her clothes in the dresser drawers and placing her toiletries in the bathroom. She took out her laptop and connected to the hotel's Wi-Fi, eager to update her blog and share her experiences with her online followers. As she typed, she glanced out the window, watching the flow of pedestrians and traffic below. The city seemed to pulse with life, a stark contrast to the quiet stillness of her room. She felt a sense of excitement, a thrill of being alone in a new city, ready to explore its hidden corners and discover its unique charm. But as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the city, a subtle unease crept into Elisa's mind. The Cecil Hotel, with its imposing presence and storied past, seemed to hold a certain energy, a weight that pressed upon her senses. She couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone, that something unseen was watching her, observing her every move. Was it just her imagination, or was there something truly unsettling about the Cecil Hotel? Was it the weight of its history, the echoes of past tragedies that lingered in the hallways? Or was there something more, something unseen and unknown, that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end? Elisa, ever the adventurer, embraced Los Angeles with open arms. Armed with her camera and a thirst for discovery, she ventured out into the city, eager to experience its diverse neighborhoods and iconic landmarks. Her blog, Ether Fields, became a digital diary of her explorations, filled with vivid descriptions and captivating photographs. One sunny afternoon, Elisa found herself wandering through the historic Grand Central Market, a bustling hub of culinary delights. The aroma of freshly baked bread, exotic spices, and sizzling meats filled the air, tempting her senses. She sampled local delicacies, chatted with friendly vendors, and captured the vibrant scene with her camera. Another day, she ventured to the Griffith Observatory, drawn by its promise of celestial wonders and panoramic city views. She marveled at the exhibits, learned about the cosmos, and gazed at the Hollywood sign through powerful telescopes. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Elisa felt a sense of awe and wonder, a connection to something larger than herself. She also sought out the city's cultural gems, spending hours immersed in the collections of the Los Angeles County Museum of Art and the Getty Center. She wandered through the halls, admiring masterpieces from around the world, her mind buzzing with inspiration and creativity. Elisa's social nature led her to connect with fellow travelers and locals alike. She struck up conversations in coffee shops, shared travel tips with fellow backpackers, and even joined a walking tour of Hollywood, eager to learn about the city's cinematic history. Her blog posts reflected her enthusiasm and her growing affection for Los Angeles. She wrote about the city's energy, its diversity, and its unique blend of glamour and grit. She shared her experiences with warmth and humor, her words painting a vivid picture of her adventures. But as the days passed, a subtle shift occurred in Elisa's demeanor. Her blog posts became less frequent, their tone shifting from lighthearted to introspective, even melancholic at times. Her phone calls home grew shorter, her voice laced with an undercurrent of anxiety. Her family and friends noticed the change, a growing concern creeping into their voices during their conversations. Elisa assured them she was fine, just tired from her travels and adjusting to being alone in a big city. But something in her voice, a subtle hesitation or a fleeting sadness, hinted at something more. Was it simply the fatigue of travel, the challenges of navigating a new city alone? Or was there something more at play, something deeper and more troubling that Elisa was struggling to express? Was the weight of the Cecil Hotel's dark history beginning to affect her? Or was something else casting a shadow over her once bright spirit? The subtle shift in Elisa's demeanor became more pronounced as the days passed. Her blog, once a vibrant chronicle of her adventures, took on a darker, more introspective tone. Entries that were once filled with light-hearted observations and humorous anecdotes now hinted at a growing sense of unease, a feeling of disconnection from the world around her. "The city feels different at night," she wrote in one entry. "The shadows seem to hold secrets, and the silence is broken only by the distant sirens and the occasional cry for help. I feel a sense of isolation, a loneliness that I can't shake off." In another post, she described a strange encounter with a homeless man who seemed to follow her for several blocks, muttering unintelligible words and staring at her with unsettling intensity. I felt a chill down my spine, she wrote. A sense of dread that I couldn't explain. Those who interacted with Elisa in person also noticed a change in her behavior. The bookstore owner where she frequented recalled her becoming increasingly withdrawn and quiet during her visits. A fellow traveler she met at a hostel remembered her expressing anxieties about being followed and feeling unsafe in the city. She seemed a bit lost, the bookstore owner recalled, like she was searching for something, but she didn't know what it was. The fellow traveler added, she mentioned feeling like she was being watched, like someone was always lurking just out of sight. It was a bit unsettling to hear. Friends and family back home noticed the change in Elisa's online communication. Her emails became less frequent, her responses shorter and more cryptic. Her phone calls were filled with long silences and vague anxieties. I'm not sure if it's just me, she wrote to a friend, but I feel like something strange is happening. I can't explain it, but I feel like I'm being watched, like someone is always there, just out of sight. Her parents, growing increasingly concerned, tried to reach her by phone. During their last conversation, Elisa's voice was filled with a mixture of fear and confusion. Mom, Dad, I don't know what's going on, she said, her voice trembling. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I see things, shadows moving in the corners of my eyes. I hear voices whispering my name when no one is around. Her parents tried to reassure her, urging her to be careful and to seek help if she needed it. But their words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Elisa's voice grew distant, her words trailing off into a confused murmur. The call ended abruptly, leaving her parents with a growing sense of dread. I know this was a heavy one, but these stories need to be told. If you're feeling it, give this video a thumbs up and share it to spread awareness. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our true crime community. For those of you who've been here a while, you know I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. The morning of January 31st, 2013, dawned with a deceptive calmness over Los Angeles. Elisa Lam, despite the growing unease that had plagued her in recent days, attempted to maintain a sense of normalcy. She ventured out of the Cecil Hotel, her destination a familiar haunt. The Last Bookstore, a haven of literary treasures nestled in the heart of downtown. The bookstore owner, Katie Orphan, recalled Elisa's visit that day. She had become a regular, often spending hours browsing the shelves, her quiet demeanor and gentle smile making her a welcome presence. But on this particular day, Katie noticed a difference in Elisa's demeanor. She seemed distracted, her eyes darting around the store, her movements hesitant and uncertain. She wasn't her usual self, Katie recalled. She seemed almost scared, like she was trying to avoid someone or something. Elisa purchased a few books, including a collection of poetry by Sylvia Plath and a novel by Jack Kerouac, both writers known for their explorations of dark themes and inner turmoil. She lingered in the store for a while longer, browsing the shelves with a distracted air, before finally leaving with a quiet farewell. Later that afternoon, Elisa was spotted at a nearby coffee shop, sipping a latte and scribbling in a notebook. A barista remembered her sitting alone at a corner table, her gaze fixed on something outside the window, a troubled expression on her face. She seemed lost in thought, the barista recalled. Like she was trying to work something out in her mind, but couldn't quite grasp it. Around 4:30 p.m., Elisa returned to the Cecil Hotel, her movements captured by the lobby security cameras. She appeared agitated, her pace quickened, her eyes darting around as if searching for someone or something. She entered the elevator, her destination unknown. The elevator doors closed behind her, and Elisa Lam vanished from sight. No one saw her leave the hotel again. No one witnessed her final moments. She simply disappeared, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a growing sense of dread. The search for Elisa Lam had begun, but the Cecil Hotel, with its labyrinthine hallways and countless rooms, held its secrets close. The LAPD launched a missing person investigation, but their efforts were hampered by the hotel's transient population and lack of reliable witnesses. Days turned into weeks, and the mystery of Elisa's disappearance deepened. Where had Elisa gone? Had she left the hotel voluntarily, or had something happened to her within its walls? Was she a victim of foul play, or had she succumbed to the darkness that seemed to permeate the Cecil Hotel? Days turned into weeks, and the search for Elisa Lam intensified. The LAPD, driven by the growing concern of her family, and the mounting pressure from the media scoured the Cecil Hotel and its surroundings, leaving no stone unturned. They interviewed guests, staff, and residents of the neighboring Skid Row, hoping to find a clue, a lead, anything that could shed light on Elisa's whereabouts. But the Cecil Hotel, with its labyrinthine corridors and transient population, seemed to guard its secrets closely. Leads turned into dead ends, witnesses offered conflicting accounts, and the trail of Elisa Lam grew colder with each passing day. Then, a breakthrough. A piece of evidence emerged that would not only reignite the investigation but also capture the attention of the world. Deep within the Cecil's security system, a hidden camera in one of the elevators had captured Elisa's final moments before her disappearance. The footage, released by the LAPD in hopes of generating new leads, was both baffling and disturbing. It showed Elisa entering the elevator alone, pressing multiple buttons, and behaving in a manner that was both erratic and unsettling. She peered out of the elevator doors, as if checking for someone or something. She stepped in and out of the elevator repeatedly, her movements hesitant and uncertain. She pressed buttons for various floors, but the elevator didn't move. She hid in the corner, her body pressed against the wall, her eyes wide with fear. At times, she seemed to be talking to someone, gesturing with her hands and moving her lips, as if engaged in a conversation. But there was no one else in the elevator. Was she hallucinating? Was she talking to herself? Or was there someone else there, someone unseen by the camera's lens? The footage sparked a frenzy of speculation and analysis. Experts in body language and security protocols were consulted, offering their interpretations of Elisa's behavior. Was she experiencing a mental health crisis? Was she playing a game? Or was she trying to escape from someone who might have been hiding just out of the camera's view? The elevator footage became a viral sensation shared and dissected across the internet. Amateur sleuths and armchair detectives pored over every frame, searching for clues and hidden meanings. Theories abounded, ranging from the plausible to the outlandish. But amidst the speculation and conjecture, one question remained unanswered. What happened to Elisa Lam after the elevator doors closed? Where did she go? Who, if anyone, did she encounter? And what ultimately led to her tragic demise? The release of the elevator footage propelled the case of Elisa Lam into the national spotlight. News outlets across the country picked up the story, captivated by the mysterious disappearance and the chilling footage of Elisa's final moments. The Cecil Hotel, already infamous for its dark history, became a focal point of media attention, its grim reputation further cemented in the public consciousness. The LAPD, facing mounting pressure to solve the case, ramped up their investigation. Missing person posters with Elisa's smiling face were plastered across the city, from bus stops and lampposts to storefront windows and community bulletin boards. Detectives canvassed the neighborhood, interviewing residents, business owners, and anyone who might have seen Elisa in the days leading up to her disappearance. Elisa's family, thousands of miles away in British Columbia, was gripped by anguish and uncertainty. They traveled to Los Angeles, desperate for answers and hoping to assist in the search for their beloved daughter. They cooperated fully with the police, providing them with information about Elisa's life, her personality, and any potential reasons for her disappearance. The search for Elisa Lam became a national obsession, capturing the attention of not only the media but also online communities and amateur sleuths. Internet forums and social media platforms buzzed with discussions about the case, with users sharing theories, analyzing evidence, and offering their own interpretations of the elevator footage. Web Sleuths, a popular online forum dedicated to unsolved mysteries, became a hub for discussions about the Elisa Lam case. Users meticulously analyzed the elevator footage, dissecting Elisa's movements, speculating about her mental state, and debating the possibility of foul play. Theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish, with some suggesting she was a victim of a serial killer, while others proposed she had stumbled into a hidden dimension or encountered supernatural forces. The case also gained traction on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, where users shared news articles, discussed the latest developments, and offered their own insights and opinions. Hashtags like Elisa Lam and Cecil Hotel mystery trended worldwide, amplifying the case's reach and fueling the public's fascination. But as the days turned into weeks and the search for Elisa yielded no concrete leads, hope began to fade. The Lam family, exhausted and heartbroken, clung to the dwindling possibility that their daughter was still alive. The LAPD, despite their tireless efforts, seemed no closer to solving the mystery of Elisa's disappearance. Was Elisa still alive, hidden somewhere within the vast expanse of Los Angeles? Or had she met a tragic end, her fate forever intertwined with the dark secrets of the Cecil Hotel? The questions lingered, unanswered, as the search continued, a desperate race against time and fading hope. As the search for Elisa Lam stretched into its fourth week, a sense of despair began to settle over the investigation. The LAPD, despite their tireless efforts, had found no trace of the missing student. Her family, exhausted and heartbroken, clung to the dwindling hope that she would be found safe. But within the walls of the Cecil Hotel, a different kind of investigation was unfolding, one driven not by the pursuit of a missing person, but by the complaints of disgruntled guests. Reports of strange occurrences had been trickling in for days, fluctuating water pressure, discolored water, and a peculiar taste that lingered in the mouth. The water was coming out in spurts, one guest recalled. It was brown and cloudy, and it tasted off, like something was wrong with it. Another guest reported a foul odor emanating from the bathroom, a smell that lingered even after repeated attempts to ventilate the room. It smelled like something was rotting, she said, her face contorted in disgust. The hotel's maintenance staff, accustomed to dealing with the Cecil's aging infrastructure and occasional plumbing issues, initially dismissed the complaints as routine inconveniences, but as the reports grew more frequent and more disturbing, a sense of unease began to grow among the staff. Santiago Lopez, a veteran maintenance worker at the Cecil, was tasked with investigating the source of the water problems. He ascended to the rooftop, a place rarely visited by guests where the hotel's water tanks stood sentinel against the Los Angeles skyline. The access door to the rooftop was heavy and secured with a padlock, a measure intended to prevent unauthorized access. Santiago unlocked the door and stepped onto the roof, the wind whipping at his clothes, the city sprawling beneath him like a concrete jungle. He approached the four massive water tanks, their metal exteriors gleaming in the afternoon sun. He began his inspection, checking valves, gauges, and pipes, searching for any signs of leakage or malfunction. As he approached the fourth tank, a sense of dread washed over him. The lid of the tank was slightly ajar, a detail that immediately struck him as odd. He cautiously approached, his heart pounding in his chest. He peered inside, and what he saw would forever be etched in his memory. Floating face up in the murky water, her limbs splayed and her hair fanned out around her head, was the body of Elisa Lam. Her pale skin was mottled and her eyes were closed, her expression frozen in a mask of eternal silence. Santiago stumbled back, his breath catching in his throat. He fumbled for his radio, his voice trembling as he reported the gruesome discovery to the hotel's front desk. The news spread quickly, reaching the LAPD and the Lam family, who had been clinging to the hope that Elisa would be found alive. On February 19, 2013, Elisa Lam's body was found in one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. The discovery was devastating, a crushing blow to her family and a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within the Cecil Hotel's walls. But the mystery of how she ended up there had just begun. How did Elisa, a young woman with no apparent connection to the rooftop, gain access to the secured area? How did she manage to climb into the heavy water tank? And what were the circumstances that led to her tragic demise? The discovery of Elisa Lam's body in the rooftop water tank sent shockwaves through the Cecil Hotel and beyond. The image of the young woman, submerged in the murky water, her lifeless form a stark contrast to the vibrant spirit she had exuded just weeks earlier, haunted the minds of those who had known her and those who had followed her story. But the discovery also ignited a burning question. How did she get there? The water tank, a massive metal cylinder standing over 10 feet tall, was located in a secluded area of the rooftop, accessible only through a heavy, padlocked door. The tank itself was sealed with a heavy lid, requiring considerable strength and effort to open. The LAPD, determined to uncover the truth, launched a thorough investigation of the rooftop and the water tank. They examined the access door, searching for signs of forced entry or tampering. They meticulously inspected the tank itself, looking for fingerprints, footprints, or any other evidence that might indicate how Elisa had gotten inside. Expert opinions were sought to assess the feasibility of Elisa accessing the tank on her own. Engineers and security consultants were brought in to analyze the tank's design, the weight of the lid, and the physical challenges involved in climbing into such a confined space. The lid of the tank was extremely heavy, explained the engineer. It would have required significant effort to open and close it, especially for someone of Elisa's stature. The security consultant added, the access door to the rooftop was secured with a padlock, and there were no signs of forced entry. It seems unlikely that Elisa could have reached the tank without assistance. The investigation also revealed that the water tank was not routinely inspected or maintained. The last recorded inspection had been several months prior to Elisa's disappearance, and there was no indication that anyone had accessed the tank in the intervening period. This raised further questions about how Elisa's body could have gone unnoticed for so long. Was it possible that someone had tampered with the tank, perhaps leaving the lid ajar, or even placing Elisa's body inside after her death? Or was there a more mundane explanation, a simple oversight or a lapse in security that allowed Elisa to access the tank on her own? The location of Elisa's body raised more questions than answers. The seemingly impossible nature of her reaching the tank fueled speculation about foul play, while the lack of evidence pointed towards a tragic accident or a desperate act of self-harm. The mystery deepened, casting a long shadow over the already troubled history of the Cecil Hotel. The discovery of Elisa Lam's body in the rooftop water tank sent shockwaves of grief and disbelief across the globe. Her family, friends, and online followers mourned the loss of a vibrant young woman, her life tragically cut short in the heart of a city she had longed to explore. But the mystery surrounding her death only deepened as investigators delved into the circumstances that led to her tragic end. A crucial piece of the puzzle lay in the autopsy report, a detailed medical examination that sought to uncover the cause and manner of Elisa's death. The report, conducted by Dr. Jason Tovar of the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, revealed a series of findings that both clarified and confounded the investigation. The primary cause of death was determined to be drowning, consistent with Elisa's body being found submerged in the water tank. There were no signs of significant trauma or physical injuries that would suggest foul play. However, the report also noted some unusual aspects that raised questions and fueled speculation. The autopsy revealed no evidence of drugs or alcohol in Elisa's system, Dr. Baden explained. This rules out the possibility that she was intoxicated or under the influence of any substances that might have impaired her judgment or contributed to her death. However, the report also indicated that Elisa had a history of bipolar disorder, a mental health condition characterized by extreme mood swings and periods of depression and mania. This diagnosis, coupled with some of Elisa's erratic behavior captured in the elevator footage, led investigators to consider the possibility that her mental state played a role in her death. Bipolar disorder can sometimes lead to impulsive or unpredictable behavior, Dr. Baden explained. It's possible that Elisa experienced a manic episode or a period of psychosis that contributed to her actions leading up to her death. But the autopsy report also raised questions that remained unanswered. There were no signs of forced entry or struggle on the rooftop or around the water tank. Elisa's clothes were found at the bottom of the tank, suggesting she had undressed before entering the water, and there were no obvious signs of self-harm or suicidal intent. The circumstances surrounding Elisa's entry into the water tank remain unclear, Dr. Baden acknowledged. The autopsy provides some clues, but it doesn't paint a complete picture of what happened. The autopsy concluded that Elisa Lam died from accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a contributing factor. But the report also left a lingering sense of ambiguity, a gap between the medical findings and the perplexing circumstances of her death. Was Elisa's death truly an accident, a tragic consequence of her mental health struggles? Or were there other factors at play, hidden details that the autopsy couldn't reveal? The search for answers continued, driven by the need to understand the full story behind Elisa Lam's untimely demise. The autopsy report, while providing some answers, also raised a series of troubling questions and inconsistencies that cast a shadow of doubt over the official narrative of Elisa Lam's death. The lack of definitive explanations for how she accessed the rooftop, entered the water tank, and ultimately drowned fueled speculation and fueled the determination of those seeking the truth. One of the most glaring inconsistencies was the timeline surrounding the discovery of Elisa's body. Hotel guests had reported water problems for several days leading up to February 19th, the day Elisa's body was found. These complaints included low water pressure, discolored water, and a foul odor, all of which could be indicative of a body decomposing in the water supply. "I noticed the water pressure was really low on the 14th, one guest recalled. "I mentioned it to the front desk, but they didn't seem too concerned." Another guest reported a strange taste in the water as early as February 16th. It tasted metallic, almost like blood, she said, her face contorted in disgust. I couldn't even brush my teeth with it. These accounts raised a crucial question. If Elisa's body was already in the water tank, why wasn't it discovered sooner? Was there a lapse in the hotel's maintenance protocols? Or was there a more deliberate attempt to conceal the body, delaying its discovery until the investigation into Elisa's disappearance had cooled down? The timeline of the water complaints raises serious questions about the thoroughness of the hotel's maintenance procedures, the expert explained. It's also possible that someone deliberately delayed the discovery of the body, perhaps to buy time or to hinder the investigation. Another inconsistency emerged from the examination of the rooftop access door. The door was supposed to be locked at all times, accessible only to authorized personnel. However, there were no signs of forced entry, and the padlock appeared to be intact. This raised the question of how Elisa, or anyone else, could have gained access to the rooftop without leaving a trace. The absence of forced entry suggests that someone with access to the key might have been involved, the expert suggested. Or it's possible that the door was left unlocked, either accidentally or intentionally. Further inconsistencies arose from the examination of the water tank itself. The lid, which was heavy and difficult to open, was found slightly ajar. There were no fingerprints or other identifying marks on the lid or the surrounding area, making it difficult to determine who had last accessed the tank. The position of the lid raises questions about how Elisa could have entered the tank on her own, the expert noted. It's possible that someone helped her, or that the lid was already open for some other reason. The search for truth in the Elisa Lam case required examining every detail, every inconsistency, and every possibility. Was there a lapse in security at the Cecil Hotel, allowing Elisa to access the rooftop in the water tank? Were there oversights in the investigation, missed opportunities to uncover crucial evidence? Or were there more deliberate attempts to conceal the truth, to obscure the circumstances surrounding Elisa's death? The unanswered questions and inconsistencies surrounding Elisa Lam's death painted a picture of a puzzle with missing pieces, a story with gaps and contradictions. The search for truth demanded a meticulous examination of every detail, a relentless pursuit of answers that might finally shed light on the tragic fate of a young woman who vanished into the heart of darkness. The tragic and perplexing circumstances surrounding Elisa Lam's death ignited a firestorm of speculation and theories, each attempting to piece together the fragments of evidence and provide a plausible explanation for the young woman's untimely demise. From the depths of internet forums to the halls of academia, the case captivated the minds of amateur sleuths and seasoned experts alike, each seeking to unravel the enigma that was Elisa Lam. One of the most prevalent theories was that Elisa was a victim of foul play. The lack of forced entry to the rooftop and the seemingly impossible task of accessing the water tank alone fueled suspicions that someone had aided or perhaps even orchestrated her tragic end. Could Elisa have been targeted by a predator lurking within the Cecil Hotel, someone familiar with its hidden corners and security vulnerabilities? The Cecil Hotel, with its transient population and history of crime, could have provided the perfect environment for a predator to operate undetected, explained a criminologist. It's possible that Elisa encountered someone who took advantage of her vulnerability and led her to the rooftop. Another theory focused on the possibility of an accident, perhaps fueled by Elisa's documented mental health struggles. Could she have experienced a manic episode or a period of psychosis that led her to wander onto the rooftop and, in a state of confusion or delusion, climb into the water tank? Bipolar disorder can manifest in various ways, including periods of heightened energy, impulsivity, and even delusions, explained a psychologist. It's conceivable that Elisa's mental state contributed to her actions, leading her to a tragic and unintended outcome. Some theories ventured into the realm of the paranormal, suggesting that the Cecil Hotel, with its long history of tragedy and unexplained deaths, might be haunted by restless spirits. Could Elisa have encountered a supernatural entity that lured her to the rooftop or influenced her actions? While these theories captured the imagination and fueled online discussions, it was crucial to maintain a focus on evidence-based reasoning. The truth, however elusive, was more likely to be found in the meticulous examination of facts, the analysis of physical evidence, and the careful consideration of expert opinions. The Elisa Lam case has fueled countless theories, ranging from the plausible to the outlandish, the narrator reminds us. While speculation can be intriguing, the truth often lies in the details, in the careful examination of the evidence and the logical deduction of events. Theories, while providing a framework for understanding the unknown, could also lead down rabbit holes of speculation and conjecture. It was essential to remain grounded in the facts, to avoid jumping to conclusions, and to allow the evidence to guide the search for answers. Was Elisa Lam the victim of a calculated crime, a tragic accident, or a supernatural encounter? Or was the truth a complex combination of factors, a confluence of events that defied simple explanations? The search for answers continued, driven by the need to understand the full story behind Elisa's untimely demise. Amidst the swirling vortex of theories, speculation, and unanswered questions, it's easy to lose sight of the heart of the story, Elisa Lam, the vibrant young woman whose life was tragically cut short. Beyond the mystery and the macabre fascination, there was a real person, a daughter, a sister, a friend, whose absence left a void in the lives of those who loved her. Elisa was more than just a victim, more than just a name in a headline. She was a gifted student, a talented writer, and a passionate traveler with a deep appreciation for art, culture, and the beauty of the world around her. She dreamed of becoming a writer, of sharing her stories and experiences with the world. She embraced life with enthusiasm and curiosity, always eager to explore new places and connect with new people. "I believe in the power of words," she wrote in one blog post. "Words can transport us to different worlds, introduce us to new ideas, and connect us to each other in ways we never thought possible." Her friends and family remember her as a kind, compassionate, and intelligent young woman, someone who brought joy and laughter into their lives. They recall her infectious smile, her quirky sense of humor, and her genuine interest in others. "Elisa was always there for me," a close friend shared. "She was the kind of person who would listen without judgment, offer a shoulder to cry on, and always know how to make you laugh." Her parents, despite the immense pain of losing their daughter, cherish the memories they have of her. They recall her childhood adventures, her academic achievements, and her unwavering love for her family. "Elisa was our everything," her mother said, her voice trembling with emotion. "She was a bright light in our lives, and we miss her every day." The Lam family's search for closure has been a long and arduous journey. They have cooperated fully with the investigation, hoping to uncover the truth about Elisa's death and find some semblance of peace. They have also become advocates for mental health awareness, hoping to prevent other families from experiencing the same tragedy. The Cecil Hotel, once a symbol of glamour and sophistication, now stands as a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of mystery. The hotel has undergone renovations and rebranding efforts, attempting to shed its dark past and attract a new generation of guests. But the shadows of its history linger, and the story of Elisa Lam remains etched in its walls. The hotel's website now includes a page dedicated to Elisa, acknowledging her tragic death and expressing condolences to her family. Elisa Lam's story is a tragic reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of mystery. Her disappearance and death, shrouded in unanswered questions and unsettling circumstances, continue to captivate and haunt those who have followed her case. But beyond the mystery and the speculation, there is a human story, a story of a young woman with dreams, passions, and a love for life that was tragically cut short. Her memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, and in the ongoing search for answers. The quest to understand what happened to Elisa Lam, to uncover the truth behind her tragic fate, is a testament to the enduring human need for closure, for understanding, and for justice. As we reach the end of this exploration into the life and tragic death of Elisa Lam, we are left with a profound sense of loss, a lingering sadness for a young life cut short, and a persistent yearning for answers that may forever remain elusive. The mystery of Elisa's demise, shrouded in the eerie ambience of the Cecil Hotel and the chilling ambiguity of the elevator footage, continues to captivate and haunt those who have followed her story. But even as we grapple with the unanswered questions and the unsettling unknowns, it's important to remember that Elisa Lam was more than just a mystery, more than just a tragic figure in a true crime narrative. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a vibrant young woman with dreams, passions, and a love for life that shone brightly in the hearts of those who knew her. Her story, though marked by tragedy, serves as a reminder of the importance of empathy, compassion, and understanding. It reminds us to cherish the moments we have, to embrace our loved ones, and to pursue our dreams with unwavering passion. The Cecil Hotel, once a symbol of glamour and sophistication, now stands as a somber monument to the fragility of life and the enduring power of mystery. Its dark history, intertwined with Elisa's tragic fate, serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the bustling heart of a vibrant city, shadows lurk and secrets remain hidden. The Elisa Lam case remains a haunting enigma, a puzzle with missing pieces, a story with unanswered questions. But by examining the evidence, sharing our perspectives, and keeping the conversation alive, we can honor Elisa's memory and continue the search for truth. Perhaps one day the full story of what happened to Elisa Lam will be revealed, bringing closure to her family and peace to her memory. Until then, her story serves as a reminder of the enduring human need to understand, to seek answers, and to find meaning in the face of tragedy. If you have any information about the Elisa Lam case, no matter how insignificant it may seem, please contact the authorities. Every detail, every clue, could be the missing piece that finally unlocks the truth and brings justice to Elisa's memory. The Elisa Lam case remains a haunting enigma, but by examining the evidence and sharing our perspectives, we can keep the search for truth alive. Thank you for watching.